and welcome to yet another episode of the Need to Nerd podcast. We're not brand new because who knows when in time you're listening to this. But we are here to talk about a very special piece of content this week. And like about half of all of our episodes, it's about Star Wars. And I want everyone to know that if you want to engage with us, talk to us about Star Wars things, Magic the Gathering things, really anything. Except maybe how you haven't heard of Olivia Rodrigo yet. Come down to our Discord. We're great. It's in the show. It'll be in the show notes. I'm sure of it. Spencer will save me if not. But I'm also joined by my co-host, who can finally talk now because I'm about to say his name, Spencer Howland.
Hello, everyone. I was going to wonder where you were going to introduce me. I realized just now that you realized that you hadn't introduced me yet. West, why do you bring up Olivia Rodrigo? You really wanted me to be recording as I was screaming at the top of my lungs. And I think that you can fully call out our friend if you wanted to.
I'm not going to call out our friend. I think our friend was doing just fine. It sounded like he was living up to the expectations of everything.
That I have for him?
Well, you know, who reads your tweets?
I mean, according to Twitter this week, a lot of people, literally over 50,000 people.
Are you causing problems?
I don't think I caused a problem. I got a lot of likes and retweets, but I did have a tweet go viral yesterday, and I had to mute my phone, the tweet, because I literally couldn't work with my phone today and yesterday.
See, I can tell you right now what the problem is.
What's that?
Notifications on Twitter for your phone. I don't have the app downloaded. I literally go through my browser every time I look at Twitter on my phone.
I just want to mention to the podcast listeners that getting a hold of West is so hard because he doesn't check Facebook Messenger, he doesn't check Twitter, he doesn't check Discord, he doesn't, and then also you don't even know if he's going to check his phone. So how do you have a co-host that you literally can't talk to? I don't know. But you know what I do know, West? You know what I do know? The nerd fact of the week. Because we're talking about Star Wars, and I just want to mention to the listeners, I don't think that half of our episodes are about Star Wars. I actually would guess that we have more Pokemon episodes than we do Star Wars episodes, and I also would guess that we have more Avatar episodes than we do Star Wars.
Well, that's straight up not true. But also, how many episodes have you hijacked that were about something else to talk about Star Wars?
I mean, that's not fair. You know what is? You know what's more than fair though is my love for D. Bradley Baker. Not only is D. Bradley Baker the voice of the entire Bad Batch, which is what we're talking about today, but West, you've informed me that he is also the voice of the main character
of
Avatar: The Last Airbender, Appa, and it was great because when you said that, we both had the same thought, which was not that D. Bradley Baker was out here making, Appa noises, but was instead out here making the voices for Appa when people are drinking cactus juice or haven't slept in 3 days.
In other words, in the Avatar: Last Airbender universe, you can only hear D. Bradley Baker's voice when you are extremely inebriated, basically.
It's actually
deprivation's the same thing, basically.
You know what's funny too is it says that it's behind all 5 members of the Bad Batch, which means that includes Echo. He is he also the voice of every clone? I did not look this up before I put this in the show notes.
Now you're asking the hard question, Spencer.
I don't know that they're hard, man. I feel like they're pretty easily and Googleable. Googleable, is that a word?
I will do.
You'll do the
Star Wars: The Clone Wars from 2008. So probably.
So he's the voice of every clone in addition. That's impressive, right?
Yeah.
The dude's put in work, to say the least.
Said a lot of things.
And even more than that, the fact that he has such distinct voices for Wrecker, Crosshair, Hunter, all of these characters, in addition to having to give, I don't know if you watched, I don't know, have you watched all of the Clone Wars, West?
Yeah.
If you think about how hard it could be to record those, I think of the arc where you're introduced to Echo and that group of clones, right?
There's a lot of clone voices. You're talking to yourself scene after scene.
Yeah, and also like getting the right emotions. I'm just impressed. Like he's done this so well for so long, and now he's doing it with distinct voices, right?
The least cloney clone voices.
Yeah, he has to actually switch in and out here, which is just so impressive.
Yeah, it's cool. I would wonder how much it was like flow of scene versus like character by character.
Yeah.
In recording, but either way, very impressive to have voiced like there are just multiple episodes where like it is just clone talking to clone for like 10 minutes until a Jedi shows up.
Yeah, I'm honestly impressed. I think that D. Bradley Baker is in like the Star Wars Hall of Fame. Like it's not even
like asked to get paid by percentage of the episode he was talking.
I am sure that he is compensated very well for a voice actor. I know the voice actors. I know the voice actors can have a rough go of it, and I'm sure, and I hope that not only was he supported by Disney, but that we as fans will just always remember his contribution to this thing that we love so much. And I think Clone Wars and Bad Batch are like in that category of Star Wars thing that everyone loves. Like nobody's like out here dissing either of these things.
I'm probably quite certain that most of the people who will complain the most about Star Wars would also be out here telling you that the Star Wars television shows are the redeeming parts these days. Yeah,
it's funny because you have that subgroup of people that are like, oh, this is made for kids. I'm like, yeah, so Star Wars, man. Like that's
How old was your dad when you watched Star Wars?
But this week's episode, West, is not a review. So this is something that, as the show evolves, right, and as we're part of this Heezy Game Media network involving the Constructive Criticism Network and involving, other content that I'm a part of, one of our goals is to be always improving as a show. And one of the things that Wes and I highlighted during this kind of segment of our show is just that not everything needs to be a review. Like, and honestly, like I don't know that I could end Bad Batch West and give it a score. Like I don't think that there was enough meat on the bone for me to give an honest opinion without it being like I have no idea what's coming next. This is like a 3. Like I have. If it's good after this, that's great. But like,
what is my dead average Star Wars like? Like just happy that I'm watching anything by Star Wars rating, right? It's
right.
I'm very happy with the show.
Yeah.
But also like the problem with like big universes is they get harder to rate within because you're like talking about like how much you love the world versus the like the setting and the like versus like the setting and the characters in that world.
Well,
so there's a lot going on.
Yeah, let's talk about the setting and the characters really quick. The Bad Batch, for what it's worth, is a look at Clone Force 99, also known as the Bad Batch, a group of elite clone troopers with genetic mutations that were first introduced in Episode 1, Season 7 of the Clone Wars. With their leader Hunter, their brainiac Tech, and their brute Wrecker, as well as their sharpshooter Crosshair, these clones, with the help of Anakin Skywalker, save fan favorite Echo, who joins their squad for the ultimate enhanced clone squad. The question here is, can they survive past the end of the Clone Wars and into this new world with a new galactic empire?
Good ad-libbing at the end, Spencer.
Hey man, I wrote it. It was really easy to ad-lib after I wrote it. I do think that it's funny because when this show was announced, we had seen season 7, and I think that, or I don't even know we had finished season 7. Like we had seen their arc in season 7, and everybody's like, "Oh my gosh, I want more of these guys." And Dave Filoni's like, "Let me tell you a story. You're getting more of these guys."
None for the rest of this season, but also spin-off time.
Yeah, and it's funny because Dave, go ahead.
Well, I'm observing now the possibility that where Dave Filoni is going to take us is just like increasingly obscure spin-offs of spin-offs, because Clone Wars is already a spin-off, right? And this is a spin-off of...
Is Clone Wars a spin-off? I think it's just a bridge.
Like it's definitely a plumbing new territory of something that already exists.
So I don't think that's true. Do you know the origins of Clone Wars?
Well, certainly it was the first Star Wars television show, right?
So no, not even close.
Okay.
So there were Ewoks television show and the Droids television show. Those are actually both on Disney Plus. You should check them out.
Okay.
But also, so the Clone Wars was a actual theatrical release cartoon Star Wars film that you can watch on Disney Plus. That was released, I think, in 2009.
I think I have seen that.
Yeah, and it was the introduction to this new TV show.
So what you're telling me is that Star Wars: The Clone Wars, the TV show, is actually a spin-off of that film, which is a spin-off of the movie Attack of the Clones.
It's a continuation of a bridge film.
I'm excited to know which minor character of this film, or of this series, is getting a spin-off next, and I really want it to be the two people that are just hanging around Sid's bar.
They're already in multiple things.
Well, I want them to show up. I want them to have their own. I want a sitcom in Star Wars. Can I have a Star Wars sitcom, please?
I mean, probably eventually, man. You'll probably get there.
Yeah.
Let's talk about expectations, though. We kind of talked about how this show is introduced, right?
Never Sunny on Corel.
Never Sunny on Corel. Could you mean Corellia?
Or whatever.
Yeah, all right. I'm not trying. I'm so bad at that, dude. I'm really sorry. You mean Corellia, which is great. I think that would be a great show. I would watch that show. Let's talk about expectations. So going into the show, we had 5 clones. We had 4 enhanced clones through the Kaminoans.
Yeah,
and then
4 genetically enhanced clones.
And then one enhanced through the Separatists.
Yes.
That was a computer, basically. So I'll go first. I didn't know what to expect. I did expect that this would happen around the end of Clone Wars, which would mean that we were going to be introduced to this group at the start or close to the start of the Galactic Empire. I didn't know if it would literally follow this group through, what happened at the beginning of Season 7 to the end of Season 7, and then maybe we'd get another season if it was successful, or if, we got what we got, right? Which is this...
Yeah. I
tried not to have expectations, right? I already like these characters. I have already identified with Hunter and Tech and Crosshair, quite a bit. I thought that Wrecker was... a typical brute character, and so I didn't care. And I already loved Echo, right? So, to me, I tried not to have expectations going into the show. What about you?
Oh, well, I think I've said this now on however many Star Wars episodes we've actually done. My expectations for a Star Wars thing. I want ship go zoom is most of what I want. And I want, snappy Star Wars one-liners, and I want, so rarely has Star Wars content failed to impress me that I usually just sit down ready for anything.
I actually think one of the important things that you just said and why Star Wars resonates with you, and honestly I think why it resonates with me is because we go into it with this whatever happens, and I just want to be entertained mentality, rather than I want this specific thing to happen and I want these specific expectations to be met.
No, I want that in Pokemon. I'll complain a lot about Pokemon for those reasons.
You know what? It's funny because I actually do have that problem with Star Wars video games, where where I'm like,
too much.
It's funny because all I wanted from Battlefront 2 was a good story, and so far. That game's really hard in the story mode, but it had a great story. Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order is the best Star Wars game since KOTOR by a substantial margin. And so far, Star Wars Rogue Squadron, or not Rogue Squadron. Oh my gosh, Star Wars fans are gonna light me up for this. I don't remember the name of the Star Wars ship game that I literally own a copy of.
Is it not Rogue Squadron? Is it X-Wing? The
Uh,
early one? The first one? The really early one?
it's neither of those things.
Okay.
Anyway, I think
Star Wars get in a ship and go around places.
it is a 5v5 Star Wars ship battle
Wait,
simulator.
that's a MOBA. You're saying it's a MOBA.
It's a Star Wars ship MOBA, basically, for multiplayer, but it has a story mode where you, like, fly around and, like, very much Star Wars Rogue Squadron-esque.
Microsoft Flight Simulator.
I literally now have to look this up because you would not shut up about it, and I'm going to be mad.
Well, that's great, because I can monologue for a moment, because, Spencer, clearly Yoda actually taught this all to us first, because attachment leads to fear. Fear breeds contempt. Contempt breeds hatred. Just don't get attached.
It's just not
flow free.
Just not the line.
Did I butcher it totally? That's
Dude,
sick. I'm so happy about it.
It's just not the line.
Is jealousy somewhere in there? Jealousy somewhere in there. I'm sure of it.
Fear leads to anger. Anger leads to hate.
Hey, no. I'm mixing up two of them, and I'm very happy about it all.
It's fine. It is called Star Wars, and it's just called Squadrons.
This is actually why we don't do 50% Star Wars episodes, because all I do during these episodes is disappoint Spencer immensely.
So one time, before we move on to first impressions, I just got to tell a quick Star Wars story of, like, the most disappointed I've ever been in a human being. I used to do these Magic the Gathering videos with my friend Matt Kling, former co-host of Constructor Chris, with me.
Oh, he's the main character of tonight.
Is he? And we're walking up the stairs at Oasis Games at its old location, and I think we've gone up.
Parking garage?
Yeah, in the parking garage, and we walk up, and I was like, "Wait a second, you're an idiot. My car's not right here." Like, because I was driving him home, the car's downstairs, and he's like, "Who's the idiot? The idiot or the guy who follows the idiot?" And I was like, "Well, first of all, I'm really proud of you, but that's not the line from the movie." And he says, "What line from what movie?" And I was like, "Oh my gosh!" Do you know the line and the movie?
I'm pretty sure it's Star Wars: A New Hope. It comes out of Obi-Wan Kenobi's mouth.
All right, you're already good.
Fool instead.
Yes, you are right. Okay, all right.
I've also heard the fair warning to everyone. I've heard this story enough times that I know that it's important that I get it right when this is happening.
Oh my gosh. It's funny because I posted this to Facebook and there were like 72 nerds that were like, "Matt, are you for real? you don't even know what movie you just partially quoted." So we had our expectations, right? You wanted ships to go zoom. I wanted...
Which actually, there's not a lot of ships going zoom in this one relatively. Like, actual fight in a ship matters very little in this show relative to what these guys can do on the ground. Because they're not pilots.
Yeah, we're like 2 sessions into our Star Wars campaign. It feels like we've already had more ship battling than this show, and we like got to skip 5 turns of that.
I guess that's true.
Talk to me about your first impressions, West.
So, I think that what this show cemented for me, that like I just couldn't really make up my mind on earlier because there's just not enough of it. I hate Camino. I don't enjoy Camino as a setting. Like, it's everything about it just feels ick to me. Like, between like from the cloning people, which I have lots of like real world issues with, to the raining all the time in an ocean, the like a really cool character gets introduced there, yeah, I mean, honestly, like that's the first time we ever see Boba Fett on screen, right? Like, and by first time I mean at his youngest age. But like as a setting, I just don't jive with it because it has like no natural beauty to it for me. And as we'll get into it, there's actually I have some cathartic moments because of that. But also, I really loved seeing Caleb's Order 66 story happen in the first episode.
Yeah, so I think we're going to just go into full spoiler territory. Like, if you are a Star Wars fan and you've been wondering if you should watch the show, if it was worth it, it's definitely worth it. Pause this episode, go watch it, and let's talk about Caleb, because I think that it's important that We call him Caleb for this moment because my first impression... Man, I actually probably have the text messages. My boss is a huge Star Wars fan. It was something we connected on during my interview process. And the show released, I think, like, during my first week on the job. Man, I'm going to cry.
This first episode's a long first episode, too. It's like a quarter of the whole show.
Yeah,
A lot happens.
I might cry. So for those who don't know, Kanan from Star Wars Rebels, we get his origin story as Caleb. Which, it's funny, one of the fun facts is like Kanan's origin story changes. And as somebody who literally has the comic about Kanan, like I own that first issue.
Does it not match?
It does. It's basically, I mean... it's basically the same. I mean, it's a little different, but whatever.
Okay.
I think you're arguing semantics at that point. The only difference is that the Bad Batch is there. Like, it's not...
Well, yeah. And also, from his, like, I mean, I guess...
From his perspective, there's no difference, right?
That he does know who they are, right? Like I said, I can't say that, like, they're just clones to him, but, like, also in that moment, like, we're seeing a different perspective, and there's a lot of fear in his eyes in that moment.
I think that
but yes, specifically the name Caleb has a lot of emotional resonance for you.
Oh no, that's not what I was saying. Don't make me cry. Don't make me cry for that reason.
Okay, that's where I thought you were going.
No, man, make it worse.
I thought I was helping you talk about it. I'm not sorry I made it worse.
No, you're okay. Yeah, if you want to donate to the Jed Foundation for suicide prevention, that would also be awesome. I'll put the link in the show notes. The thing that's hard for me is just there's so many Star Wars fans that don't get Star Wars. Like that they don't get that it is people standing against fascism. And that fascism is bad and we should stand against it. And Order 66 is like the culmination of, in a lot of ways, why fascism is bad.
I mean, Order 66 has a strong emotional resonance for me.
I'm sure.
Person.
Yeah, I'm sure it does.
The parallels are very clear.
Yeah, it's like it is literally genocide via fascism. Like it's so. It hurts. It hurts to think about where. I think that, people like to joke and complain about the number of times that we've had to endure watching Order 66. But
I mean, there's a reason, like, these 30 years are where the stories keep coming back to.
Right, and the thing is that the magnitude and the impact of how far spread out these people were, and this religion was, and just getting massacred by these people that they trusted and that they were told to trust. It's sad. Like, and everybody's like, and everybody after that first episode was just crying. They're like, I'm crying. Like, I'm crying on this cartoon, and it's like, yeah, because it is messed up. Like, it is so sad, and when you think about like the way that the thing is my first impressions of the first episode. It's
true that episode is wildly different in feeling than the rest of the show.
But I do think it sets a good tone where it's like...
No, it does, for sure.
It's like, it makes you understand right away where you're at with the Empire. Like,
every conflict for the rest of the show generates in this first episode.
Yeah, everything that happens, and my first impression from the first episode to... I don't have the episode listed in front of me, but it feels like it might be like until they meet the what's her name?
Yeah, what's her name? Omega?
No.
Sid.
Yeah, until they meet Sid, the entire show is based off of the people's reaction to Order 66.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I think that's intense.
It's true, and like things don't start to make sense until we get to Sid. Like things don't settle down a little bit. Like it doesn't have a for those first few episodes, like there's no rhythm to the show. There's no like it's just freewheeling, like unrootedness, right? Like there's that feeling of like, who are we?
Yeah.
What are we doing?
Sorry.
But it's definitely this show, for being, you know, a spin-off of the Star Wars kids show, Clone Wars, right? Which it's, you know, not always and often is. This show goes heavy and deep fast and stays there for a lot of it.
Yeah, it does a really good job. And like one of my first impressions through some of, I think a lot of people's favorite episodes is how well it connects Clone Wars to Rebels. And like,
it's true. There's a lot of passing the ball. There's a lot of passing the ball, and just like my favorite things. Like when we talked about the prequel trilogy in our previous episode, like I was talking about how some of my favorite things about the prequels are answering questions that someone might have.
Yeah.
About how did we get here in Star Wars, and I think this show answers a really important question, which is how did we get from clones to stormtroopers? And there's a whole bunch of other things it sets up as well, but I think that this show tells that story and was meant to tell that story.
So I want to go into favorite characters, and I know that I'm first on the show notes, but I actually want to let you go first because I'm actually more interested in your answer.
I mean, it's hard because I think that there's not a ton of different, like, there's like, most of the characters are like very characterized at first. Right?
They're caricatures of a clone.
Of archetypes.
Of,
right?
of a clone.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people compare this to like the A-Team or like, you know, those style of shows where you have this show just happens to have two tech guys instead of like a brainiac.
Is good actually because there's a lot of like plot device lifting that goes from having them be able to be in two spaces at once.
Yeah, that's true.
Man,
but could they use Crosshair during a lot of those moments?
Oh, well, that's of course true. I would say that with a solid honorable mention to Crosshair, I think actually, because as a character, he's fascinating throughout the show. I think honestly, Wrecker grew on me a lot over the course of the show, and I end the show very happy with Wrecker.
Yeah, I agree with everything you just said, and I think that Wrecker grew the most on me through the show.
I think he grew the most.
Yeah.
I mean, his relationship with Omega is what caused Omega to grow.
Yeah. I was going to say that I think that it's possible that Omega grew the most, but
she's a kid. Of course, she was.
Yeah, she's going to grow the most. It's funny. I think that for me, and I'm like the kind of sucker that loves the main characters, right? Like, so like Crosshair and Hunter are like are just my two favorites. But I don't, even at the end of the season, I didn't yet empathize with Hunter, with Crosshair.
Yeah. I was gonna say the Hunter's one of the hardest characters for me to like get in the head of.
Oh man, I just think that Hunter wants to do the right thing and help his squad. Like I think that Hunter's main thing is tracking and leading. Like those are his enhanced characteristics.
Finding the way.
Yeah, and so like it's actually interesting because I actually really love that these are caricatures, right? Where Crosshair is to look for the goal in sight and complete the goal. Yeah. And so because of that, Crosshair sees the goal as
good soldiers follow orders.
Yeah, like, and that's, listen, Crosshair knows that he's wrong.
Yeah.
Like, it's very obvious.
Oh, I think Crosshair plays with one of the most interesting tensions in any war story ever.
Crosshair both knows, but Crosshair also, part of a sniper's job is to survive and get the mission complete, right?
I was going to say that actually, thinking about Crosshair now makes me think of Hawkeye in Fullmetal Alchemist and what she went through in whatever that like preamble war is.
Yeah. No, that makes sense.
Yeah. It's hard, right? You have to kill like very
he's already killed people he doesn't want to kill. Like,
Yeah.
and honestly,
kill
Wrecker.
people that haven't done anything to him. I think that
Yeah.
self-defense is a much easier argument for killing, of like they had no idea they were fighting.
Yeah, Wrecker and Crosshair probably have the most kills on the team, right? But Wrecker is literally getting shot at as he's killing people. And Crosshair has probably been shot at the least of the team, and he's just straight up murdering fools.
Yeah, it's definitely that or Tech, right? But Tech is usually at the objective, so maybe he's getting shot at a lot.
Yeah, I think Tech is getting shot at a whole bunch. Like, if Tech is blowing up something or, like, making something explode that's far away from him...
He's always where it matters.
Yeah. I think that Hunter is my favorite character, and I don't think it's for the reason that he's everybody's... he would be a typical favorite character. I think that he also grows a bunch because of Omega.
So true.
Where... if you start the season, Hunter doesn't want to listen to other people. Like, he's the leader. That's what he's there for, right? He's there to lead. And while he does have this sense of right and wrong, that I think that all of them have, including, for what it's worth, including Crosshair, I think that Hunter has a conflict with listening to other people that he has to overcome.
It's true.
And
it's put on blast most by a very smart, very capable, very, like, big-hearted child.
Yeah. And if I were to actually just, like, rank the six of them, like, I think Hunter would be my favorite, Crosshair would be my second favorite. It's hard not to put Echo as my third because
Echo has a lot of, like, resonance.
Yeah.
He's the longest running character.
Yeah, he's just the longest running character. But, like, I don't know. I think Wrecker might be fourth. Honestly, Tech did the least growing this season. Actually, I don't even know that Tech grew. Like,
I would agree that I don't think Tech grew, and I actually think that's a huge part of Tech's character, is that, like, he is analyzing, he's not growing. Right? And also, I think that Tech's worldview is, tell me the objective, I will tell you how we do it. And so much of growth is about deciding what matters.
One of the things that he did get better at, now that you said that, though, is reanalyzing step by step, which I don't know that he was great at the beginning of the season. He thought they were going to fail a lot, where he thought they were going to succeed a lot at the end of the season.
Mm-hmm.
Like, even if it was like a 55% at the end of the season, I think he would have given them like a 3% at the beginning.
Yeah.
I will let you go first, as you are first on these show notes. What's your favorite episode?
Oh, this is a hard question, mostly because I think there's a lot going on. But I think that for me, Rescue on Ryloth probably is the one that my heart's going to go back to, because it is the first episode where truly, like, Omega sets the course. Like, in, like, the truest sense of not the negotiating, not anything of, like, we're doing this. I'm sorry, Hunter, we're doing this. Is a really big part of it. And obviously, Hera is just such a meaningful character to me, and seeing her on screen and seeing how...
Can I ask why it's that episode, not the other Hera episodes?
Is that the...
It's an arc, right? It's it's 3 episodes.
Is it a full 3 episodes? Okay, well, that's not necessarily... I think it's... Maybe there's 2.
Is there only 2? It's definitely multiple episodes. You have the episode where the Empire comes in. You have the episode where Hera does the bad deed, and I think then you have the episode where they rescue Hera. I think it's 3 episodes.
Okay, you might be right on that. I absolutely will believe you this. Oh, yeah, it looks like that this is the case.
Is episode...
In that case, I do mean the one, the middle, the one that has the
second one. Yeah, the second one.
Yeah, the one where, like, things happen just nonstop the whole episode.
I believe that is called is it Infested?
No, it's definitely not Infested. Infested's about the
Oh no
stealing back the drugs.
Oh no.
on,
Is it
Sid.
Devil's Deal?
It's Devil's Deal. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So here's the thing. That is one of the best arcs, if not the best arc on the show. I completely agree. I think.
Oh yeah.
I think that it does a lot of things, right? Like, it talks about a couple things. One, how once fascism takes place in a culture, and a high level person sees opportunity, how hard it is to root that out.
Yeah.
Like it's this thing where like
it's so poetic that senator dies the way he does.
The whole thing is like it's so hard.
But it is like truly, yeah. I mean, I guess episode to episode is like a little harder to really suss out, but like I do think that like that is like the one where these characters really have their growth tested, really have their morals tested.
Are you okay?
It sets everything up really well.
Are you okay are you okay if we take the backlash from like toxic Star Wars Twitter or Star Wars stuff if I say what I want to say?
Wait, haven't we always been ready for that?
I know, but like I want to be pretty clear about what I'm about.
We talk about toxic Star Wars Twitter every time we talk about Star Wars, and we're usually on the side of screw 'em.
Yeah, here's the thing: is that like the thing is that I don't know that this season. The thing is that people love to call this like SJW propaganda, right? But like. This is no different than the rest of Star Wars. Like, nobody's coming down on a different side than they were already coming down on. The truth is that if any of Star Wars was released today, the conservative fascists, which is what they are, in a lot of cases, not all of them, but a lot of them, would come down on the side of this being, like, liberal propaganda. The truth is that...
Yeah. Fascism was so, like, oh my god, yeah. Like, the fascism was so unbelievably evident in the Empire.
Right. Right,
yeah.
But so many people identify with the Stormtroopers these days. So many people identify with the Empire. Like, actually, I'll just be honest. During my interview, one of the questions was like, are you Empire or Rebels? During the interview for my job. And I was like, I'm not Empire. Like...
Yeah. Are you trying to ask me if I'm Order or Chaos?
Well, like the thing is I don't actually think it's that far of a leap from what I believe in to fascism. Like, it's
about means versus methods.
Right, exactly. It is the literal thing that we've talked about with all these villains, and Star Wars does a really good job of showing you what happens when it's not a superhero that you're talking about, but a culture you're talking about. And I really like that. I am gonna just say that the first episode's my favorite episode.
That's like, if you just want, like, money where your mouth... the fact that my brain treated this whole thing as one episode, I think...
Obviously, you saw 3 episodes as one episode, and you were like, "This is the best part." And it's a great
in the first episode.
It's a great arc, but it's not an episode, Wes.
That's the problem with binge watching. You have no idea when one episode ends.
Yeah, I think that the first episode is the best. And if I were to have, we'll get into my could be betters. That first episode was. It was like Rebels season finale good.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, Rebels season finales are better than most Star Wars movies.
Yes, they are.
Like, they're unreal.
I mean, the action only matters based off of, like, the stakes and the character
that's
driving it, right? And
exactly.
So television shows produce that at, like, a way higher quality than movies can.
The first episode of this show, like... I was crying.
Finales, things going on for
literally think that if you go to the Heezy and Media TikTok, I think you get my reaction. I don't know if it's still there, but like, it was. I was impressed. It was so good. Favorite cameo. I think that West will probably be surprised by this.
Grand Moff Tarkin.
You think that's mine, or you think...
No, I'm just shouting his name out because I think he's cool, but he's not my favorite either.
No, he is actually my favorite.
Oh, sick. I like Tarkin. Anytime Tarkin shows up is awesome.
I think that Tarkin... I mean, the book Tarkin is great if you haven't read it. The episodes that Tarkin is in the Clone Wars are great. I think that any time that we can increase the understanding of why Vader listened to Tarkin, and it happens in a lot of books in the current canon and things like that, but like...
It's also like the one Empire official who like is in the same room as Vader, even when things are going wrong, and like usually lives to tell the tale.
Yeah, like obviously he overestimated shit at the end of A New Hope, but I don't know, like I really love how he screws over the designer of the Death Star to claim credit. I really love how, like, every step along the way, Tarkin is always on top. And, like, the fact, like, what he does in this show where he's like, nah, we're not using clones anymore. Like, you go do this. Like, we're going to make this work. I don't know. I think that Tarkin is terrifying. Like, I'm really glad that he died in the Battle of Yavin, because I actually don't know if the Rebels win if Tarkin doesn't die, because I think he's, like, kind of a genius.
Yeah, he's really good at, like, hiding his intention behind like information gathering. He's really good at hiding, like he just has a great, like he's very Thrawn, right? Like him and Thrawn have a lot of similarities, and it's probably why they don't get along.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure whenever Thrawn and Tarkin are talking to get to each other in Rebels, they're like having a fight.
Have they talked in... I actually am trying to remember if they've ever talked ever.
Or maybe they're like going through like intermediaries, or someone's reporting on what Tarkin's saying.
Oh, you know what? I actually think that Tarkin is the key centerpiece of the second or the third... No, it's the third Thrawn book. It's actually really important. So it's funny you said that.
But like they both have that same energy of...
The thing is that I think Tarkin is like what Thrawn aspires to be.
Yeah. The key is that you've never seen Tarkin in a fight. Ever.
Well, I mean, you've never seen Thrawn in a fight for real either.
Thrawn has been closer to fights than I've seen Tarkin in fights. That's for sure.
If you read the books, Thrawn gets in a lot of fights.
Well, that's because if you're having main characters, you have to have action around them.
Yeah. But I think that... Here's the thing. I like it when I am scared of my villains.
Mm-hmm.
And I am scared of Thrawn. This made me more... I am scared of Tarkin. This made me more scared of Tarkin.
Oh yeah, Tarkin like is full on everything he needs to be here. It's also just super cool, like how immortalized the image of Tarkin is. Like they can play with what like there are characters in the original Star Wars that like their representations of younger selves don't look how they did because they had to use new actors. I like that step by step, Tarkin has always been the same guy.
Yeah, I mean he has like darker hair in Clone Wars.
He's younger. Yeah.
Yeah. And even in like
Rogue One,
even in the best Star Wars movie of all time, Rogue One, he like looks amazing. Like I know that
love
he's
Tarkin in that movie too. Like I think he's really
it's
funny
fine.
in that movie.
I understand that Star Wars fans hate CGI and they just like no, you should have cast somebody and then put a mask on them. But like no,
don't give me. Actually, I was the one saying don't give me young Mark Hamill at the end of.
Dude, they might be reshooting that with the guy that did the fan edit. They hired the guy. All right, spinoff time. Before we move on, because we should move on to your favorite cameo. So we talked about this a few weeks ago. The end of Mandalorian season 2. They like did this weird CGI Luke Skywalker, right? But a fan did their own version of that exact same scene using Mark Hamill that like people loved way more and that looked more like Mark. Then
why have I still not seen these like
hold on
sweet Jedi fan edits that you keep talking about on this show?
Okay. Then they hired the dude It's like
That's so
Disney
smart.
hired the dude that made the fan edit, and then Mark Hamill tweeted that he was doing a new season ending of something.
Wow, that's wild. It's
Like-
wild on a couple of fronts because when
So
a guy
it's
makes
not-
a more successful version of what you do and you're a massive mega corporation, usually you sue the guy, you don't hire the guy. So that's great all around.
Great on Disney. I agree. 100%. Do that more.
Yeah. So like the people who run Melee tournaments, Nintendo, cough cough.
Oh yeah, fuck Nintendo. I'm happy to say that on this podcast.
On a not Nintendo episode. Of this
Yeah,
podcast.
exactly. Like, don't worry. I'll make sure to change our rating on YouTube for that. But also, yeah, Nintendo's never gonna hear that. But yeah,
Certainly we're not the ones who've said it the most times or the loudest.
yeah, definitely not.
But my
We're
favorite
huge
cameo,
Nintendo fanboys. So,
other than Tarkin, because I think Tarkin is the other really, really cool person to see. on the show.
I know you're gonna say Hera, but is it actually Hera?
It is actually Hera, and I have good reasons for it.
Is it not her dad?
Her dad's cool too.
But like, her dad
Her
is in.
dad-
Her dad's in both, and he's so good.
I have a lot of emotional resonance attached to Hera, not so much her dad. And Hera is the most mature character in Rebels, especially at the start. And like the person who seems like she has everything together the most and has learned the most lessons of her life. And so it was really fascinating for me to see a Hera who has not yet learned those hard lessons, who still reaches for things she can't quite grasp, who we see that version of Hera a lot in Rebels, but it takes work to get that version of Hera in Rebels. It takes convincing. And it's nice to see that child that Hera used to be and have it be make sense with when Hera follows her heart in Rebels.
Yeah, that's fair. I understand. Also, I was mostly joking. I thought you were going to say Chopper, so.
Okay, fair. Chopper's awesome too. Saw Gerrera, awesome to see Saw Gerrera.
Hey, Saul, don't care about Chopper, the best war criminal to ever exist. I'm all
that's
in.
probably true. That's probably true.
Dude,
straight up.
There's
Chopper does have no morals.
if
It is
you want
amazing.
to listen to some great Olivia Rodrigo,
Second best droid. Second best droid.
R2D2 is the best droid. You
I know.
shut.
Is he the second best droid?
I don't know. I like BB-8 a lot.
Okay, but he's like top 3.
Yeah, definitely.
It's always
Definitely.
the astromech.
It's
we like
always the-
astromechs more than we like other droids.
Here's the thing, though, is that like assassin droids in KOTOR like definitely enter that like top 5 echelon.
Sure.
I think that I like all 3 of them better than I like assassin droids.
I do like the Gonk droid in this show, by the way. I think that he's funny.
Gonk droids are just great. I do want to say really quick before we move on that if you do want to listen to some Olivia Rodrigo, as mentioned early in the episode, and want it Star Wars themed, just look up War Criminal Olivia Rodrigo Chopper, and I'm sure you'll get a lot of great TikToks for good for you, that just scream.
It's like a damn so too.
Yeah. Exactly that.
I can see exactly where this is going.
Yeah, it is.
I've already Googled this.
Yes. Let's go on to our Lovets. Wes, you're actually first here. What are your Lovets?
How have I been first 3 in a row? Who wrote these show notes?
I switched one of them.
It was 2 ago.
All right. I can go Lovets
No,
first.
no. Okay. I'm mostly complaining to complain. I'm not actually.
I knew that was true. I knew that you didn't actually care. That you were just trying to throw me under a bus. So I have a lot of Lovets for this. I think that the entry to this season is what this season needed because it made you care about it. I know a lot of people are like, I'm so sick of crying over Order 66, but it's like, these people experience that, and you need to experience them experiencing that.
Yeah, their reaction to it is what sets them apart.
Yeah, I think that it's important to understand, like, how are these guys different from Rex, who literally had to have a droid surgically remove something from his head to get it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna cry. I think that is my biggest love. It is just also Hunter. Like, actually think that's why Hunter's my favorite character. It's just
Is
like
that moment?
Yeah, just like he's like, dude, I don't want to hurt you. Like that is not even close to what's trying to happen. And I love that
It's true that this moment defines the show.
I
This
love that
conflict
I
arises
love that
right here.
I love that Caleb runs away. I'm glad he does because it gives us Star Wars, but like if I'm Hunter, I'm like so upset. It's like I don't even know what's happening right now.
Yeah.
And I think that it's why I identify with Hunter so much. It's like I have been a part of a group of people that willingly follow stupid orders and stupid direction and just do it blindly. And Hunter's like, what are we doing? This is a child.
Yeah.
I don't know. It is easily my biggest love. I think my second is the growth of Omega in a couple ways. One, she grows through the clones, right? She grows through working with the Bad Batch. And I love that. Like, I love what she learns from Tech. I love what especially what she learns from Wrecker. I think it's actually one of the best parts of the show. It's just her.
That teddy bear does a lot of emotional.
No, he.
No, I'm just saying like that's a great teddy bear. I'm not saying.
Yeah, no. Yeah, I think you are. I'm just saying like. Yeah, the teddy bear does a lot of heavy lifting. I think that he is a huge part of Omega's growth. And if you would ask me at the beginning of the season, I would have thought he was just a dumb brute that didn't do anything. And he is probably the biggest contributor to her growth, like even over Hunter. Like
he's reckless in everything, including love.
Yeah, he's legitimately great. My third biggest favorite is actually her getting her room, and then the caveat to that is her showing her quote unquote room to Hera. Like I legitimately broke down in tears. Like she's so proud of this little space that she has. And it makes you really sad when you get to that final episode. She's like, I spent X years of my life in this room. I literally never left this room, and it's hard. I don't know about you, Wes, but I did not realize that she did not age like normal clones until those final few episodes.
You didn't realize that she was on the Boba plan on the plan?
Yeah, when
that was instantly apparent to me. Which is
it was not apparent to me until she said it.
Yeah.
I was
that she was older than them, like that she was created after they were. That part didn't click, or before they were. That didn't really click.
Sure.
Me. But that she was on normal aging, I did understand implicitly.
Yeah, those are my favorites. What are yours? Or Lovets. Those are my Lovets.
There's a lot of really good Lovets that are like moments where Omega reacts to the world or interacts with it. I think my favorite one is the first moment she's on a planet that's not Kamino, and she's like, "Dirt, what's this?" I thought that moment was amazing. I thought it was so cool, and I thought it was like great writing because like that is like considering your characters, knowing their perspectives, and it's low hanging fruit. But like, yeah, Kamino is a very different planet than most planets that people live on in Star Wars. And so, like, what is the perspective of someone who has only ever lived on the weirdest of them, as opposed to someone who's like, wow, that's a world that's all water and rain. That's weird, right? Like, dirt, sun. What are this? Like, I think it's so cool. And honestly, it's weird to say, but watching Kamino go down in flames, I liked it.
Okay. Is that your last of it? Can we move on?
Sure. Why? You're just like, why does he like dirt? Why does he like Kamino going down in flames?
I think the problem is like how many innocent clones died in that.
Yeah. I mean, every hallway was empty their entire time leaving Kamino. They did not encounter a body in Kamino on their way out.
That is true. That's true.
I mean, sure. I agree that there's probably an implied.
I mean, there's
millions of clones dead.
Well, not only that, but like
Or
how many
the
clones?
Unborn clones?
That's the ones I was thinking of.
Okay, well,
here's the thing, is
I don't
that
want to. We're dangerously close to
I
like
know,
the worst politics we can go to.
I know.
I had jokes to make about Grand Moff Tarkin, and I didn't go there. Like, this one's worse, wherever we're going here.
Here's the thing. No, I don't want to say that.
Like, okay, sure. Watching what Kamino represents go down was good for me. Thinking of the ramifications of it, maybe not.
Have you played... Dude, you need to just come get my Xbox. I'll buy a Series S. I will literally just buy a Series S tomorrow, and I'll get a Series X when I can. You have to play Star Wars video games.
Great, I'll do it when I'm not in the most important semester of my life.
Alright, well, you know what, man? Sorry I make my decisions late. Here's the thing. One of the hardest parts about Clone Wars and about this show is actually just playing the original Battlefront 2, where what you do is you actually follow the entire life cycle of what clone unit do you think you follow?
Anakin's?
Yes, that is right. Do you actually know what clone unit that is, though?
No.
Come on, I think you guess.
Alpha Squadron. Red Leader. I don't know. I don't pay attention to call signs or anything.
Dude, you are like, when I say it, you will actually just be like, oh yeah, obviously.
Okay.
It's the 501st Legion.
Okay. No, that doesn't mean anything to me.
Okay.
801 Legion. Let's go.
There is an 801 501st for what it's worth. The 501st is like the group that like makes stormtrooper armor and stuff. They actually, fun fact, they use the 501st Legion to film season 2, or maybe it was the end of season 1 of The Mandalorian, because they didn't actually have enough stormtrooper armor to film that last episode where they like are on the desert planet. It's not Tatooine, but it's another desert planet, right? Where they are shooting the gun into the thing.
The gun into the thing.
Do you know what I'm talking about? Where they're like, it's.
Yeah, it's the Wild West shootout. Yes,
yeah.
So, it's the end of Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid.
Yes. Yeah. So they actually didn't have enough stormtroopers to film that. So they actually hired the local 501st Legion, which is a group of like stormtrooper, clone trooper cosplayers.
Okay, sure. Okay.
So they actually hired them to be on the TV
That's
show.
Rad. I like that a lot. That's meaningful to everyone involved.
Yes. Yeah, it's super awesome. So the original Battlefront 2 follows the actual 501st Legion, which is the Legion that attacks the Jedi Temple with Anakin Skywalker.
Ah. Okay.
And so
I want to know where when this tangent lands, because it's been a great tangent.
No.
But where does it land?
It lands where like it makes everything else feel different.
Okay.
Where like I want nothing more than Star Wars Republic Commando and Star Wars Battlefront 2 to be canon, and it's really close to still being true. Like, we already see so much of both of those things coming to fruition. And in all honesty, like, one of my biggest love-its for this show and for what Dave Filoni does is connecting those things and bringing the things that all Star Wars fans love into canon again. Like, he doesn't bring in everything because it's impossible, but he brings in the things that are like, we all did this, we all connected with it.
It's like, thank God I can find, like, so some days he's just like, I can't think of what's going next. Like, let me read another book.
One of the, and let me connect what you just said about Kamino. In Battlefront 2 story mode, the original one, there is a mission where the 501st and Vader go back to Kamino to destroy the clones because the Kaminos have rebelled and built a clone army to fight the Empire.
Okay.
Now, while that is not what happened, it is definitely what was hinted at going to happen if the Empire did not intervene the way they did.
Yeah.
Which is really interesting.
Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of more things to say about the burning of Camino, but all I can say was it was sad when the Great Ship went down.
Sure. Let's go on to Could Be Betters. I'll go first. I think the finale of this show sucked.
Didn't have the same stakes as the
Yeah, I actually think that's the entire problem.
Did you want to see Crosshairs redeemed?
I actually think that if Crosshair had got on the ship, the whole thing would have been better. But they set it up for season 2 way too much. Like, I actually think it was a wrong decision. I'm not a writer, and I am also just not Dave Filoni. He's way better than anything I will ever do. So I really hate to give this Could Be Better, but it bugged me. Like,
how do you think about Dave Filoni and hats? Do you think his hat choice is good?
I love cowboy hats. I think he's great.
Cool.
Yeah, I think the season finale sucked. Like, a lot. Like, the last 3 episodes, like, were not... It wasn't even...
It's true that I think it does get a lot... Like, after how good Ryloth is...
Here's the actual problem. I think that originally they thought this was going to be a 1-season show, and then they got the okay for season 2 and then changed the ending. And it is so evident where you're like, you're in the Bad Batch season 1, go do it, and then they're like, oh, this is the most popular thing on Disney Plus. Like, you're getting season 2. After, like, episode 2, they had to change the ending, is my guess. Like, I just don't even believe this was the original ending.
Okay.
And I think that it makes it worse. I think it does. Honestly, if you want
to... us going back and eating the things we said earlier in the episode.
What do you mean?
Talking about our view of Star Wars and how what we get is what we get and we're happy about it.
I am happy about it. I'm saying what could be better, not what I would change, right?
True.
Like, I think that it would have been better if they just did the original story however they were going to do it, and then gave us a season 2. But I'm still excited to see how Crosshair is redeemed, because I believe that that will happen. And also, I think that the fan theory that Omega is... Do you know this fan theory?
Holdo?
Not Holdo.
Okay, but someone in the Rebellion?
Not in the Rebellion at all, in the First Order. She has silver armor, she's played by a Game of Thrones character.
Ah, dangity, that's an idea. What's her name? It's, Oh, she's a right bastard, too. I'll get there eventually.
Do you want me to give it to you?
Sure. I wasn't Googling.
I mean, I was. Mostly because of the alcohol that I've been consuming. But...
It's a cool theory.
Is it?
Nearly as cool as Darth Jar Jar Binks.
I actually do love that theory.
I think so too, because it mostly just, like... I like fan theories that enhance everything that's going on. They, like, take things that don't make sense and, like, explain why I would be like, yes, that's awesome.
So, there's a lot of Captain Phasma fan theories.
Phasma, yes.
But...
was totally not going to get there.
I actually couldn't finish the typing because of what you said, because I was laughing at Jar Jar. I'm pretty sure it's Captain Phasma. But...
sounded right.
One of them is that this is Captain Phasma. Like, this is her origin story. One of the others is that the armor that Captain Phasma wears is actually the Naboo. If you look at Naboo ships, they're made of, like, these silver metallic materials.
Yeah, no, I'm into it.
And one of them is that the armor that Phasma wears is actually made from...
of the ship.
Shay Palpatine's ship.
Okay.
So, anyway, Here's the thing. I think it could have been better. Like, I think her saving her droid was super cheesy. Like, there was a lot of problems that I had with the final 3 episodes because it didn't fit with the rest. It wasn't that they were bad. Like, I don't even think any of the episodes of the show are bad. Like, I think they were all great. Individually, all great episodes. I thought the final arc, maybe the final arc plus 2, after, like you said, the Ryloth arc.
Infested, I liked Infested a lot.
Yeah, it all just felt different. And I didn't... While I understand that your love for watching Camino burn to the ground is great, but, like...
Not the ground. The bottom of the sea.
Sure. I don't actually think that has any effect on Kaminoans, because, like, they live in the water, so they just rebuild, so it just doesn't even matter. Anyway.
That's... I mean, on a, like, society-long, like, 1,000-year scale, maybe.
They only blew up one part of their entire culture.
No, I'm literally quite certain. First off, I have serious issues with how anytime they arrive at a new planet, they're like, oh, I know where the population center is, I know where we should go, and I know that the plot's right here. And I actually was enjoying the idea that in my head, this is the only thing that matters on Camino, and that's exactly how Obi-Wan ended up there.
All right. I do accept this. I do accept this headcanon.
Yeah.
But no, my could be better is like the final 5 episodes. I think that... I don't know. It feels like they decreased...
Don't take this on Rescue on Ryloth. It is just the last 4. But yeah.
Okay, sure. I think that they decreased the stakes.
Mm-hmm, I agree.
And it's sad because I think that if they had moved from Ryloth...
The final stakes were a robot.
That just is super cute. I love him, but like whatever.
Yeah, no, I think that it's funny because Star Wars has a lot of really good stories where saving the robot matters a lot.
But this one just didn't matter.
But like, I wasn't invested in the robot.
No, hold on. I loved the robot.
No, the robot's great.
I'm glad she went to save him, but like,
I was not invested in that robot.
I didn't need 2 episodes of build up for her to care about the robot. I already knew she cared about the robot.
Yeah, the robot that was her closest thing to a best friend growing up. Totally.
Yes.
No, that part felt fairly self-explanatory. No, I agree. Something that I think could be better in this show is I just think that they don't spend enough time differentiating Tech and Echo, and I don't think they spend enough time sending Echo and Echo. Exactly. Here's my problem. Echo and Tech on journeys of self-discovery.
Yeah, actually, now that you say that,
I would have
loved
side adventure with Zuko.
No, that is exactly what I was gonna say. I would love it if each individual Bad Batch member, by the way, including Crosshair, got an individual episode with her.
With Omega? I think that would have been awesome.
I actually think that would have been amazing. Like, if...
Hard to structure and write, but like...
Whatever,
if it
I don't
just
care.
Like happened to have worked out, it would have been amazing. Or
yeah, I agree. I think that's a huge could be better that, in all honesty, Avatar did right, so...
Yeah, like Toph not getting one.
I mean, she would have just killed the guy, so...
Oh, yeah, no. It was way better as a punchline than it was as an episode. Don't get me wrong.
What were your final impressions?
My final impressions of the show were that it got us from A to B. Like, this is not just the story of the Bad Batch, right? This is the story of how did we go from clones to stormtroopers, and what were the political choices here? What were the forces that caused this to happen? Right? It sets up three crucial backstories of characters in Star Wars Rebels.
Can you call out the 3? Because I want to. You've called them crucial backstories. I want to.
Kanan Jarrus, Chopper, and Harrison.
I knew that was your 3. I don't know that.
They're not like full backstories, but they're important.
I actually think that Caleb, or whoever you want to call him, I think that his backstory has a lot more to tell.
Oh, I think that they're not done yet.
Yeah.
That one was a piece. We have no idea what happened right after that scene, right? He's in one episode, but I'm very happy it was there.
Yeah, me too.
It sets up a huge part of the story. Like, if they were going to structure the call to action of the story around Order 66,
yeah.
I'm glad that's the Jedi this was about.
Is there any other first impressions you want to call out?
Some other final impressions I have that I think come out of this is like, I really like just seeing, like, I don't know, like the day in day out job episodes were some of my favorite. I think Sid's a great character. I like that the relationship that the Bad Batch has to doing like crime is different than the relationship that like the rebels have with doing crime in basically the same circumstances.
Yeah.
And I really liked the last episode with Sid. Like, I think that episode was really fantastic. And also the idea of like any amount of like actually showing the drugs of the Star Wars universe like on screen and like talking about them, I think is a cool step to take, because
yeah, it was really funny when I watched that episode. I thought of our Star Wars campaign, where when our DM was like, yeah, this is, there's a bunch of spice here, and I was like, yo, what kind of spice do we have? Because like that impacts my decision a lot on what we're doing.
Yeah, it totally impacts my character's decisions.
Yeah, it's like yo, this is the meth spice. I was like, yeah, we ain't doing nothing with this. Like, or not even meth. What did he say?
Heroin stuff.
Yeah, he's like, this is the heroin spice. I'm like, yeah, we ain't touching this. And it's funny because like my final impressions of this show are, it is the strongest starting Star Wars show ever. Like, even more than like, even if you look at season,
not a better first episode of a Star Wars television show.
Here's the thing: is even if you look at season 7 of Clone Wars as its own entity, which it is.
In many ways it is.
Yeah. Like
10 years after the rest of the show.
Not even that long. Come on, that's too long.
How long was Rebels running for?
Long time. My point is that this show set its expectations so high. And I don't know that I'm disappointed at the end, other than it's very clear that their plans changed.
Are you happier with
the season?
There could be a season 2, and it was like this, as opposed to whatever you thought the good end of the story could have been, and there not being a season 2.
No, I actually wish it ended.
I do as well. I think that actually these characters seem to like this is when their story could have been relevant. And I think that there's only so many like
maybe
this we can say that seriously impactful galaxy spanning stuff is happening at the same time.
Here's the thing. That could change, right? Like if a mega story becomes super relevant to the Star Wars universe, obviously yours and mine opinion of the entire thing changes. Like if they know something we don't know, and Omega's growth and her story changes the Star Wars universe, my opinion changes.
Yeah.
But as far as the Bad Batch goes, I wish that it had been one season.
Yeah, I don't know how many more seasons of like oops, Wrecker couldn't be quiet jokes we can make.
Yeah. I do think that like the A-Team level of I don't know. I do like that this is more episodic than other shows. Like, we had a couple of arcs, right? Like, we had 3-episode arcs, 2-episode arcs a couple times. And I like that versus, I've watched 15 episodes of whatever. I don't know. I do love that. I think those are love-its for me.
I mean, I do think that if we, because Clone Wars, every show after Clone Wars has had less filler than Clone Wars. That's pretty clear.
You know what's funny? Is a lot of the stuff that people thought was filler in Clone Wars is actually, like, huge Star Wars lore. and we
Well,
can.
that's fine. You can have a lot of lore in your filler episodes. Like, we're still
No.
going to call the flashback episodes filler in Naruto, Spencer.
What's Naruto?
Okay.
But yeah, I think that, like, I don't know. My final impressions are, I don't want more than 2 seasons. Like, I actually hope they finish this.
Yeah.
I know that's a weird. I know that's a weird thought.
I think for me, it's limited number of times they actually get to tell Star Wars stories, or like the rate at which they get to come out. And like I kind of want a different story in its slot.
Yeah, exactly. It's not that I don't like the I don't like Clone Troop 99. I love them. Like, you can tell as many Clone Troop 99 stories as you want. I just don't want them here. Yeah. Like, if you want to tell me about all the shit that Clone Troop 99 did before Season 7 of Clone Wars...
half of the season being set up? I'm into that.
I'm super into that. I don't want Clone Troop 99 untold stories after Order 66. Yeah. I'm not as interested in that. Like,
it's true that it feels like that the end of their relevance to the greater Star Wars story has ended.
Exactly. Like, at some point we've just got to say these dudes don't matter anymore. Like, the Empire is bigger, the narrative has changed. I want to know
are family making, not necessarily
exactly. Yeah, West gets it. You get it. Leave a comment.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I would hope for in a season 2 that like is forward looking is
going on to the next freaking segment. Go on.
We segued so easily.
I love it. Go off.
I mean, it relates to my could be better. There's still room. I still want my everyone goes on an episode with Omega episodes.
Yeah, I do too. That's actually my biggest That's actually my biggest hope too. Is that, like,
I want to see Tech and Echo like really come into their own.
Oh man, I actually would love it if they went on an episode without her too, and they like.
They would actually just be great on us. Like, I want to see an episode where like they're
locked in a room, like
everyone else just fucks around until.
No, I don't even want them there. Like, I want a Brian Stewie episode. Yeah, no. Even bigger.
Okay.
Yeah, like, do you know the episode of Brian and Stewie in Family Guy in an elevator? It's like one of the most historic cartoons ever.
I feel like I've seen it, but it's also been a very long time since I've even thought about Family Guy.
It doesn't even matter. It is the cartoon episode with only 2 characters for 30 minutes.
Yeah, that's great.
It is the first one ever. I want Echo and Tech stuck somewhere.
In a sewer.
Yeah, I don't even care where it is. I literally don't care. But I want
in an just like in a jungle somewhere with no technology.
Oh, that's fine too. I don't even care. I want them to figure out how to get out of it without help from Hunter, specifically Hunter. I don't even actually. I don't care if Wrecker's there. I don't care if Omega's there.
Wrecker will not help if he's
there. He just is not a help, so it doesn't matter. But yeah, that's for me.
Wrecker, but he does just cause problems on accident. That's who he is.
My biggest hope for season 2 is one. I'm gonna say something, but I don't want listeners to hold me to this because I don't like expectations going into things.
We're gonna say things and we don't mean them.
No, I do mean it. I want season 2 to involve Rex making sure these guys go their own way.
And the monkey's paw curls.
It doesn't even have to be Rex. It can be Obi-Wan. It can be Yoda. I don't care who it is. I need a leader to tell these guys, your job is done. Go live your lives. If you want to help us, the way you can help us is joining the Rebel Alliance. But like, I need this to end. Like,
I'd be kind of into them like just falling in with Saw Gerrera for a while and like getting some Saw Gerrera stories through their lens.
I hope that's not true.
Okay.
I think that Saw Gerrera is like what's wrong with.
No, I mean I agree that like he's not the most redeemable character.
But the problem is that if they do a Saw Gerrera arc, I think they can do an entire another season, right? Like they can.
Okay.
I mean that's if they do that. If
I
they
want them to get deep enough in this next season where they can make a spin-off show of
here's
some minor
here's
character of
the
this
thing.
show.
Here's the thing. If they
Sig's
do
bar.
if they
Sig's
do
bar.
if they do Star Guerrera, I will accept a season 3.
Okay. Because you want to redo?
No, I just want it to be.
It matter. It span
No.
the gap.
Here's actually my hope. Maybe this is my hope for the ending of the show more than anything. I want to see Hunter happy. I want to see Tech happy. I want to see. I don't think any
Omega's dreams crushed because she's already about as happy as she's gonna get just being with these guys.
I think that Omega is probably Captain Phasma. I think that she is a bad guy.
I wonder how old she is if she's Captain Phasma.
You can look at this up. I've already looked it up.
I literally cannot process years in Star Wars, and I refuse to do so.
It's not that hard from ADBC,
Not gonna
bro.
do it. Not gonna do it.
She could be Captain Phasma.
Okay. How old is she if she's Captain Phasma?
I mean, 30, 38, 40, 42?
Okay. Cool. That makes sense.
Not even that old.
Yeah. There's like 2 characters in all of Star Wars that are older than that. Maybe 3. R2-D2 as well.
R2-D2 is the main character of Star Wars. I think my hope for season 2 is that it is the last season of the show, and I'm not trying to like. I don't know. I'm not trying to make the show less. I'm just.
Here's a final question.
Yeah.
Is specifically Clone Force 99 picked because it's just 66 upside down?
I don't even know what that means.
Because they turned Order 66 upside down?
Ooh, that's a good question. No, I don't think so. I do think...
It is a nice coincidence.
It is nice. I think that one thing I want to see from Season 2 is Crosshair's redemption. I want to see what you said, where all of these people get the chance to work with Omega. I would also love to see Boba Fett and Omega talk.
I want Boba Fett to irrationally decide he likes Omega.
I don't want Boba Fett to fall in love with himself. I think that's weird.
No, not like that. Like, as in, like, you are, like...
I don't want another
Boba
Loki
Fett does not have a very high number of human beings he can stand.
Sure. I'm just saying that I don't want another Loki situation. Like, I didn't like Loki falling in love with himself.
No. I'm not talking about this.
Okay.
I'm talking about... I want him to be like, you are not as annoying as the rest of them. Like, that's what I want him to say.
I mean, that's probably true because she's him. They're the same person.
Yeah, they are...
They're not the same person. It's so weird. I've thought about this a lot. I have twin brothers, and I think about how they're similar and how they're different. They're identical twins, and it's made me think a lot about cloning.
I mean, specifically, these are fraternal twins.
I don't think that's technically true because they're clones.
They literally have entirely different chromosomes.
So that is true, but I don't know that that matters in the form of cloning.
Fair enough. I will stop talking now because I will inevitably prove how little I know about genetics the moment I open my mouth again on the subject.
I think what you're saying would be the basic understanding of human beings and twinning, but I believe that genetically, outside of chromosomes, they are the same person.
Okay.
I don't know what that does to your DNA. I am also not an expert. I'm sure somebody in our comments will tell us. But I would be interested in those two interacting in Season 2. That would be one of my biggest hopes.
I guess in my head, for some reason, I thought that Boba, like, and as I'm setting up there, like, Boba would be older than Omega there, but no, they're the same age. They're basically the same age. I'm almost certainly. I think as they gave Boba to Jango Fett, they kept Omega.
I think that Boba is literally as old as Boba left Kamino. So like by the end of the Clone Wars, I think Boba's like 13.
No, I get that.
Like, oh, well, like, I mean, obviously,
I think
Boba
she's
left at
like,
an age and time has passed
I
since
think
then.
she's 9 or 10. I think that literally when Boba left with Jango, Omega was born.
You think that was when they did it?
I don't know that's when they did it, but I think that's when...
I have no idea. I'm not going to Google this. Again, I can't read Star Wars years. They literally don't exist to me.
I will literally tell you.
I cannot wait.
I mean, you're gonna have to. I have to literally read it. So.
That is asking a lot of you, Spencer.
No, it's fine. So Boba Fett was born. Oh man, my glasses are like so dirty.
Oh man, this suspense is killing me.
Just be quiet for editing purposes. So, Boba Fett is born 32 BBY, which is 32 years before the Battle of Yavin. Omega does not have a birth year on Wikipedia.
That makes sense.
I would guess that Omega is 6 years younger.
I think Omega is one of those people who looks like 12 for several years.
I think that Omega is 6 years younger than Boba Fett.
Okay. When we have an answer to this...
I will, yeah, you can call me out as wrong. I think that she is literally their answer to... They saved...
Boba from us?
What?
Like, I think my answer, like, it feels so clear to me. Like, it makes so much sense to me that it would add up that, like, while they're already filling this requirement that Jango Fett has set for them to use him for cloning, if they're already making one normal one, why not make two normal ones?
That could be totally fair. I can completely understand that. I think that if we just look at the timeline of Clone Wars and how Omega is at the end, she's like 5 or 6 years younger than Boba Fett at the end of the Clone Wars.
I can't attest to that, and I don't know. But logically, the when they would have done it makes sense in my mind.
Yeah. No, I understand.
The fact that they talk about how she is the just that her like DNA is like the perfect
No, she is Jango Fett female form. Like they're the
yeah.
They are the same person. So.
But is the undeteriorated genotype of him or whatever.
Yep.
But,
no, I understand what you're saying. I completely get it.
We should.
If you want to suggest new topics in the comments other than us talking about Jango, Boba, and Omega, which by the way, do you like that Boba got a new title in the show? He is Alpha. Did you notice that?
First and last.
Yeah. Yep.
Maybe Omega actually is a sped up aged clone, and she is the last one.
She's not sped up.
She's just wrong.
I don't think that's true. I think that she's not sped up. But yeah, if you want to suggest a topic, go to our Discord, or I will soon be making a monthly topic thread on our Discord. And if you want to suggest a topic and you are a patron of $5 or more, we will see what we can do, and we will message you if you suggest a topic. So, head on over to the Patreon, or head on over to the Discord and see what we can do. You can find me at Spencer13H. You can find West at East_monotone.
MONOTONNE.
Yeah, that's true, because it's not spelled like a normal human being, because you're weird. You can like, you can subscribe, you can review if you are doing so. That is the best way to help the podcast. It's free. Just spend a second, go to iTunes.
You can send all your Android friends like an additional text message by reacting to us as well.
Is that true?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Anytime you like something I say, I get like just straight up like a text notification as opposed to a heart. What can I do with this?
I don't know what you're saying right now. Go ahead.
When you know how on iPhones
Yeah.
you can like put a heart or a laugh face or an
Yeah.
exclamation point or whatever.
Yeah.
I get that as a text message.
So do I, but that is when you're in a text message thread with an iPhone user.
Yeah.
That does not help the podcast increase its listeners.
I was making a joke that this is an episode instead of a review episode.
I understand now. If you would like to react to this episode with a heart, please review the podcast or like it on YouTube. Thank you so much, everybody, for listening. West, I actually really enjoyed this episode. I loved the difference here, and I appreciate that we tried this as less of a breakdown of like a review of this season and more like, our thoughts and, what we hoped for. I really enjoyed it. I appreciate you doing that with me.
Yeah. Slam dunk 5 out of 7 episode.
Fun fact.
I thought that. Oh no, that was my last comment, Spencer. We can't. Go back.
That's totally fine. Devonair, if you're listening, Wes did that right. You rating something a 7 out of 10 for a perfect score was wrong. West understood it. Thank you, everybody else, for listening. We'll see you all next week for another episode of the Need to Nerd podcast.